Good morning, Mountains. We are here in Warfield, Kentucky. JJ Pruitt, Darryl, McCoy here, and we got Bradley Dameron from the mean streets of Marbone Creek, Kermit, West Virginia. Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing today?
Doing good. So Bradley had surgery on his mouth yesterday. How you doing with that?
Well, a couple of days ago, well, not so much surgery, but they had to do some dental work, and I'm still a little sore, but much better than I was 2 days ago.
Wah wah. The Now, as we're getting ready to go on, JJ here. JJ, what are you rocking? I see you got a bright yellow and green jersey on. Tell us the story behind this one.
So I've got the original 24 jersey, and this is probably going to be my favorite throwback that I ever wear. This is my man Terrence Pruitt. He is my all-time favorite high school athlete. He was a three-sport athlete, probably the best three-sport athlete that I've ever seen. He was an all-state wide receiver. He was all-state in basketball. He was on the 2003 state championship with Mate One. He was a shortstop, and he was an even better person. And I'm really grateful that his family allowed me to wear this today because, like I said, this is my all-time favorite high school athlete, and I'm really excited for this interview today because I get to actually interview his nephew.
Oh yeah, Aiden Burke.
Oh yeah,
who is a current Mingo Central Miner, plays for Coach David Jones.
Absolutely,
the one of the co-owners here at D&D Sports Network. As we're getting ready to get started, guys, we got a load to talk about. Later today, we'll have Justin Koger, head coach of the West Side Renegades, coming on, and via Bradley Dameron. And I'll have to get Bradley that link over to pass on, but. As we're doing that, today is August 14th. JJ, tell us what happened this day in history.
So we're going to start off with the year 1917. And in 1917, China declared war on Germany and Austria during World War One. So that was a pretty significant time in history. We're going to go with 1945, which is also known as VJ Day. So the Empire of Japan in 1945, they surrendered unconditionally to the Allies, ending World War II. So,
wow.
That's another
big day.
Absolutely. And also in 2016, which is more of a modern time in history, Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt won the 100-meter dash in Rio de Janeiro, becoming the first person to win the event in three consecutive Olympics. He later claimed the unprecedented third straight gold medal in the 200 meters as well. So it goes back to whenever we was talking about Noah Lyles, and I mentioned that I've already witnessed the best ever. This was just so happened to be one of those days that I witnessed as well.
Well, I don't know if Usain Bolt's record will ever be broken.
I don't think that we'll live to see it.
I don't know. I mean, they make athletes bigger, stronger, faster these days. So I could possibly see like it's just machine coming up, and but it's going to be hard to do because that was an insane time that he threw down.
Absolutely. And my question to you, Darryl, is at what point does evolution reach its peak? I mean, there are athletes if you look at athletes like Bo Jackson.
Yep.
I mean, even you hear stories about Wilt Chamberlain being 7'1" and being able to run like a 10-4 100-meter dash, having a 40-inch vertical at 7 feet tall, and being able to bench press almost 500 pounds. I mean, at some point, we got to ask ourselves, when will that moment come where we just say, you know what, like this is at evolution at its peak, and we're not going to see anything better than this?
I don't know when that will be, but I do think that we will end up seeing it someday, seeing his record fall. I don't know what the max is for it, but I'd say he's pushing the limits.
I'll tell you something else that's crazy. In the 2008 Olympic Games, when he broke the record the first time with a 9.6 time, he let off the gas. And even today, like the fastest time was like 9.79.
Yeah.
So just imagine in 2008 him breaking the record by a tenth of a second.
Yeah.
For letting off the gas. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy to me.
So here we go. Also this day, JJ, 1935, the Social Security Act was implemented and made sure it was during the Great Depression made sure that Americans was to live healthy lives even after retirement. So definitely changed America. One of the biggest acts probably ever in the history of America. Correct, Bradley?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's still most people's main source of like retirement income.
Yeah, especially around here. So, JJ, whose birthdays are today?
So we've got 3 birthdays today. The first one that we're going to go with is Kofi Kingston. I
Okay.
don't know if you're familiar with his
No.
work. He's a WWE superstar. The second person that we're going to go with is Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, we have arguably either the greatest point guard of all time or the second greatest in Magic Johnson.
Oh, well, a lot of people consider him the best, but you could make arguments.
I mean, it really just depends on who your roster is.
Yeah.
I mean, do you need just somebody to be a facilitator for everybody else, or do you need somebody that can get you 5 assists a game but can also get you 40?
Well, today's also a slow day on the Facebook birthdays, as the only one I got is Jesse Peck, head coach of the Johnson Central Golden Eagles. So congratulations and happy birthday to Coach Peck. All right, guys, as we move on here, don't know if you guys got to see the big story coming out. What am I going to say, Bradley?
Well, Darryl, this was going to be the first year for West Virginia high school football with 4 classes in football and a few other sports as well. So far, this ruling only applies to football that I'm aware of, but we'll wait and see. But 11 schools were reclassified and they dropped down a class. And 2 of those are 2 of our local teams in Wayne and Spring Valley. And but it basically, we're just a little over 2 weeks before the opening kick in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And and here just about 2 weeks out, we're just basically changing the landscape for the season. So I don't know what's going to come about because teams have already scheduled, created their schedules. You can't change it now. And playoff points will be a little bit weird and wonky and stuff. And I mean, and quite frankly, Spring Valley is going to be a juggernaut now in Class AAA and AAA, and then in Single A, St. Mary's moves down, and I think just based on how they've been in the past 50 years or whatever, St. Mary's probably becomes the favorite in Single A.
Well, and the thing was, 11 schools all appealed the decision and won the appeal. Now, there was other schools that appealed. There was 20 schools that appealed. 11 of them got granted, and one of them schools was Chapmanville that appealed, and now they're taking it to the next level, I guess, and trying to fight that. But it's a tough situation, especially this close to the season starting. It's very rare that any body commission would make a decision this close to season. Normally, if they do something, it's for the following year. But they had decided to do it yesterday, and I think it had everybody shook up in the sports world.
It's going to be interesting, how
you got the list of schools.
I did in the story. Let me. It's on D&D Sports.com for those interested. Let me pull them up really quickly, Darryl.
As Bradley's pulling them up here, I mean, this is something that I thought, I hope Chapmanville can win theirs and stay down in AA because listen, Spring Valley, they will dominate the AAA. I mean, year in year out, they're an elite program, and I think everybody wants to avoid that AAA now.
All right, I have them, Darryl, and really the only 2. There's going to be Fairmont and Bridgeport will be about the only ones who I think would be on Spring Valley's current level, but hopefully someone can rise up. But right now, moving from Quad A, to AAA is John
Why would
Marshall.
you wait that long? JJ's sitting here. I guess he likes the limelight. Well, we had the camera the whole time on JJ, and he just messaged and said, "Do you want me to change it?" I was like, "What are you waiting on?"
Hey, you're on the producer side of the.
I shot you over a message as well at one point. But anyway, the schools on there right now, on that current list, are moving from Quad A to Triple A, are John Marshall, Oak Hill, Preston, St. Albans, and Spring Valley. Dropping from Triple A to Double A is Frankfort, Sissonville, and Wayne. And dropping from Double A to Single A is Petersburg, St. Mary's, and Tyler Consolidated.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a bunch of comments coming in already. Aiden Armstrong says, "What's up, Kendrick Prater?" We got Aiden Armstrong should be in class right now. Aiden, and then we got Austin Harlow and Dusty McCoy all asking where Jackson's at. I'm taking those are his. I know Austin Harlow goes to Belfry. Take it. That's his Belfry friends. He has a dentist appointment today, guys. So thank you for checking in to the startup show to check on my son. But back to what you said, that wasn't the biggest story coming out yesterday too of our area. Well, it was of the state, but in our area, Birch football folds their middle school football program. Bradley, this is a sad situation here, as this, if I'm not mistaken, this is a couple times they have in the last couple of years folded their football, and I think it's time in Mingo County, for everybody to consolidate when it comes to middle school football and build a middle school football team that can. And I don't know, Birch. I don't know how many that you can combine with. I don't know. Kermit, Lenore, Gilbert, Williamson. I don't know how many you have to combine, but I think it's time to, talk about consolidation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Bradley.
No, in Mingo County for years, often Kermit and Lenore have combined teams. Now that they always set to have their own team, but we have a lot of small middle schools, right, over in Mingo County. And what would happen is whoever had the most players, most years, the players from the other school would come over and play for that team. So like you would have maybe Kermit or Lenore, but it'd just basically be both of them.
Yeah.
I think the same thing needs to be able to happen with these kids from Birch. I think if the Board of Education does not allow that, they're dropping the ball. And I mean, I don't know which one would be closer, mate one Williamson, I don't know. Or as you said, a possible combined team. There may be some travel logistics with that, but
well, it needs to be done because and one thing that it's causing Mingo County to lose a lot of their football players, and that's not fair to the high school. It's not fair to the other programs, because whenever you do this, you take an instance yesterday. You had or last year you had Jacob Maynard, having to go to Chapmanville and spend a year in Chapmanville just to play football, and this has to be changed. I don't know what it is. And I like, Christina Poole put out a, and I think is she the principal at Birch right now?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, Darryl, I'll be honest.
I'm pretty sure she's the principal over there. But this has to be changed. I seen she put a post out and said parents has got to get their kids off social media, off the Xbox. When it comes, parents got to quit, making their kids quit just because they think their kid ain't getting playing time. This is more important than that, and the thing is, it's not just football, guys. These communities there in Delbarton, a lot of them businesses, thrive off these basketball seasons in these little local communities now. Now that we don't have a high school in the area, it becomes even more important for the middle schools. And, this is just a sad situation that's happening over there at Birch. And I really hope they get things figured out, because it's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the high school football programs, not fair to the community. Let's find a way, whether it's consolidation or what, to make sure that these kids that want to play football can stay in their hometowns and play football and not have to go elsewhere.
And, typically these schools have enough for basketball, and which I think the more schools playing basketball like that, the better. Like, if you can have more kids, that's more playing time individually for those kids.
Yeah.
Develop. But like football right now, like those kids at Birch, they can't develop unless they go somewhere else right now. I think they should be allowed to, like in the immediate future, let them go to one of the other schools to just play on the team. Just let them do work. Play at Williamson or Mate One or something.
I agree tenfold. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't forget, 8:30, we got Westside Renegades head coach Justin Koger joining us. Make sure you come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show. Award-winning tire shop that focuses on customer service, that's family-owned and family-operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires Appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
In America, what does that mean? It means jobs. It means craftsmanship. And when it comes to Vaughn Bassett furniture, it means value. And Kemper recognizes that. That's why they've dedicated an entire gallery to Vaughn Bassett. Made in America. See the quality. And now, see the price. Come see your favorite Kemper store in Hazard, London, or Somerset.
We're back here on the Startup Morning Show. Bradley Dameron from the mean streets of Barbone Creek. JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy here, guys, as we get started here. Don't forget, 8:30, Justin Koger will join us this segment, sponsored by Punk's Tires. Our friends Jeremy and Chasta, the best in the tire business. Make sure, guys, if you want to get your vehicle road ready, go over to Punk's Tires in Virgie, Kentucky. I promise you, tell them D&D Sports sent you. They'll cut you a deal of a lifetime. All right, guys, here we go. Donald Trump throws down Truth Social. For you guys that don't know Truth Social, when he got kicked off X, he started his own media company called Truth Social. And a lot of people, Donald Trump fans, a lot of Republicans that did not like that Facebook is, I guess, basically venting what you can post and what you can't post, and ends up, Donald Trump going back to X. Now they're saying that Truth Social workers are saying they knew this day would come, but they didn't figure it would be this soon. So on Monday, after Trump's supposedly interview with Elon Musk that ended up not getting off the ground very well, he ended up saying that he would be going back to Twitter, which is now called X, and kind of threw down his own social media company. So right now, the people that's in charge of Truth Social are really nervous about their jobs in the future and how this will end up lasting.
I think that even though like he's not going to have Truth Social around anymore, I'm sure he'll find a way to take care of them.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts, Bradley?
I mean, you know, it was the whole True Social thing. I always found it a little bit weird, but I mean, Trump kind of marches to his own beat. You know, marches to the beat of his own drum, good or bad. You know, so
That he does. Tough situation there though for Donald Trump. But as I don't know if you guys seen Colin Kaepernick looking to come back to the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, 36 years old, 7 years since the last time he played, and he's still trying to make an NFL team. Guys, should the NFL allow Colin Kaepernick back in the league?
I mean, I don't. I can't see anybody taking a chance on him, honestly. I mean, for one, he's 36 years old. And I mean, I know there have been some instances where you have individuals like Brady or even Joe Flacco showing that at an older age that you can still dominate at a really high level. But I think that just from a business standpoint, because at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, I can't see anybody wanting to take a chance on him because there's so many people out there that disagree with some of the protests that he did in 2016 and all of those other years. I think that there will be a lot of owners out there that will say, you know what, we can find somebody that can do the exact same things that he can do, and
not bring the baggage that he brings with
absolutely.
it. Well, I think that Colin Kaepernick, at the end of the day, I think at the time that he was doing that, he wasn't the greatest quarterback in the league at the time. He was he had some really good career. He had a few good years, but at the end of the day, whenever all that happened and whenever he was fighting to stay in the league, he wasn't the greatest quarterback, there was. But, there is some light at the end of the tunnel for Kaepernick. Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the new Las Vegas Chargers, said that he would love to have Kaepernick on his coaching staff. But Kaepernick, I guess, shot that ideal down and said that he's still looking to play.
But there have been other instances where he's wanted to schedule workouts with other teams, and either he didn't show up or, he wanted everything to be done a certain way. It's like, okay, we're only going to bring these people in. I'm going to do it at this field. So it's like, you alienate yourself whenever you're trying to do these workouts and stuff. And
avoid the headache, NFL.
I mean, that's what. If I was an owner, I wouldn't pick him up.
You got any thoughts on that, Bradley?
Yeah. When it comes to Colin Kaepernick, he's been offered backup jobs before, and he didn't want to compete for the backup position. I remember the Broncos, John Elway, several years back, said, "Okay, you can, we'll sign you to be a backup," and he wouldn't take it. So I mean, at this point, it's an age and talent situation. Listen, let's just be honest with you. If Colin Kaepernick had the talent of Tom Brady, they wouldn't have cared what he did.
No, and at the end of the day, I wasn't, I don't see how you could have allowed Colin Kaepernick to take a knee during the national anthem and then punish Tim Tebow for taking a knee in the end zone. Right reason. And so at the end of the day, what Colin Kaepernick done, I mean, it started a huge fuss throughout sports. Take your opinions, of the situation, out. At the end of the day, there's people on the right side, people on the wrong side of it. There's places to do this, not at your job. So Colin Kaepernick, you kind of done this to yourself. You better take Jim Harbaugh up on his coaching, because I don't ever see Colin Kaepernick being allowed back in the NFL. I think that the NFL will make sure that don't happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was for an undisclosed amount, but for the years that he wasn't in the league, they did find some sort of way to settle out of court with that situation.
Yeah, because it come out publicly that the NFL was behind the scenes blackballing him.
Yeah.
So as we move on here, guys, don't know if you guys got to see. Well, I tell you what, we'll save that story for later, because I want to get your guys. It's going to be one that we're going to have to go into, and we see Coach Koger here. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with Westside head coach Justin Koger.
Agents wear a lot of hats. There are coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Pass, bring them to Hall and Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall and Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall and Jones. Welcome, everybody, here to the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, Darryl McCoy, and without further ado, we got head coach of the Westside Renegades, Justin Koger. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. We always like catching up with you. And, for you people that don't know, Coach Koger, at one point in his career, I don't know if he still is or not, was the youngest coach in the state of West Virginia. Correct, Coach?
Yeah, I think when I first got my start 2 years ago, I was. I'm not sure now, but I'm still probably in that category somewhere.
How old was you when you got started?
So I'm 27 now. I was 25 when I got the job.
That's huge. Well, I'm going to let these guys have you before I get to you, Coach. Go ahead, JJ.
Coach, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you. And you're actually the second coach that we've had that's like in the 26 and 27 range. Yeah. So at what age did you first get started with your coaching career?
So it was probably, probably around 22, 23. And my little brother played. So when he got into high school, I was finishing up college around the same time. I started coming back around the program because he was here at Westside for his first 2 years of high school. So I got involved a little bit just from coming around and watching him, and I got asked to help out a little bit. So it just kind of snowballed from there, and I realized how much I missed being part of a team and being competitive in that way. So once I got started in that, it was like I couldn't get rid of the feeling after that.
So who were some of the coaches that kind of took you under their wing and tried to, give you some tips to help you further your coaching career?
Yeah, I've got a lot of great mentors to thank from the time I was young and coming up through youth league. My dad always coached me from the time I was a kid. Larry Cook was my football coach here at Westside, and I was blessed with great coaches. Nick Cook was my basketball coach. Darren Thomas, another football coach of mine. Guys that I played for that I really learned a lot from. And then when I first got started in coaching, Herbie Halsey was the coach here at Westside, and I really give him a lot of credit because I didn't realize at the time when I was young and 22, 23 years old as an assistant, but he taught me a lot of administrative things. And at the time I was like, why is he telling me this stuff? But looking back on it now as a head coach, there's a lot that I learned from him that I really needed to know. That was super valuable information.
So I heard that you was a pretty good athlete in your day as well. Can you tell me a little bit about your athletic background?
We had a lot of success here as teams when I was in school, and we had a great group of guys that we all came up together, and we played tons of football and basketball together from the time we were 6 and 7 years old. We kept our same core of guys together all the way through high school, and we were able to have a semifinal team in football our senior year, and then 2 semifinal basketball teams back-to-back years. So we didn't make it all the way to the big game, but had a lot of success. And then I was able to go on and play some college football at Concord. So really, really blessed and lucky with a lot of the success that we were able to have.
So I also heard that were you a finalist for the Kennedy Award as well? Yeah.
I finished third in that my senior year. It was kind of crazy how it happened. Regular season we had a solid solid year. And then when the playoffs came in, we kind of made some changes offensively and exploded. I think we ended up going to more of a air raid type deal, and we were throwing the ball 50 times a game for those three playoff games that we had, and just really went off as an offense.
So, you mentioned your younger brother, Jackson. Now, your first year as head coach, he was quarterbacking at Logan, right?
Right. So that was the timing on that kind of got messed up. So
That's what I was going to ask you. In the family, how much pressure was they to return to West Side, or was you like, I don't want to mess the senior year up, leave him back?
You're exactly right. So we definitely talked about it because he had already he went over to Logan and played basketball his junior year, and then I didn't get the job here until May of that year. So we definitely talked about it, and it's something that we would have liked to do, but where he was at in his career and his recruiting and stuff, we just thought it was best that he stayed where he was at, and he did well at Logan. So, but yeah, that was weird timing, and we got that question a lot.
Go ahead, Bradley.
Each year, you started out your first year. I think you had 2 wins there as head coach at Westside, and then had 5 last year. It seems like that program's building momentum. What are some of your main goals coming into this year?
Yeah, so first year we finished up 3-7, and then 5-5 last year, and we're just trying to continue to build on that. And I knew coming in that the first year that we were going to be pretty young, and the guys that we have that are seniors now, when they were sophomores, they weren't really ready to compete, but we were able to keep all those guys together. And now this year we have 18 seniors. So now we've got some experience and maturity, and we added 2 wins on last year. I feel like if we add 2 or 3 more on this year, that should hopefully get us in the playoff picture. And that's kind of our goal that we've been focused on since last season ended, is trying to get back to the playoffs. It's been 10 years as a school since we've been there. So that's where we want to get to.
You have a pretty good quarterback there right now in Caden Vance. We've had him on the show. Tell us a little bit, like, you were a quarterback. Tell us a little bit about, like, how's that relationship as like player coach developed, and has your experience as a quarterback and being a quarterback at Westside, has that kind of helped you all grow together?
Yeah, I think it kind of sped everything up, just because I think he's had a lot of trust in me from the beginning, and that's kind of helped me relate to him because I understand what he's going through, and he knows that I've been there before. So that was good for us in the beginning to kind of jumpstart everything. And we do have a really good relationship, and I can coach him hard, and he takes it the right way. He's very coachable. He didn't have a great day of practice yesterday, and he knew it, and I knew it, and we're able to talk about it. And he's going to have a better day today. So he's been good as a player. He's been good as a leader. So really excited with where he's at.
You've spoken a little bit about getting in the playoff picture, and this is the first year of 4-class football, and of course we had that whole bombshell yesterday of everything getting realigned. Where do you think, you're all in AA right now, and so where do you think, what's the state of AA football, do you think, right now, and where do you all fit right into that?
I don't think, from what I've seen, unless there's more teams that get mixed around, I don't think much has really changed in AA. I think that we're kind of a sleeper team right now, and that's perfect, right where we want to be, because I think we're going to surprise some people, and I think we should be right in the mix. From what I've seen, I think the 4-class deal kind of helped us out as far as that goes, because you took probably, I'm not sure the exact number, but I would say there's probably at least 8 or 9 teams from last year's AA playoffs that moved up to AAA. So I think that kind of just opened the door even more. And even if the 4-class didn't happen, I think that we still would have had a great chance to be in the mix in AA.
Coach, you had some you've had some really good, really surprising years here. to start your career. As we seen yesterday, Birch Middle School folded their football program, and we know in Wyoming County, it's a smaller county too. As a head coach, what's some of the challenges of building a program in a rural area like Westside?
Yeah, it's the big thing is getting the community support. I think that's number one. If you can have that, I think everything else kind of falls in line. And now, especially in areas like here and in Mingo County and all of Southern West Virginia, it's hard to get a lot of guys out to play football. There's probably, we're blessed and we have 50 plus guys out right now playing. So we'll have a full JV roster, JV schedule. But I know that it's tough, and there's probably another 30 or so guys walking the hallways every day that I wish would come out and play. But we're really lucky over here that our middle school program, the guys that coach there, I played with in high school, and they do a fantastic job coaching our middle school. We got a great youth league. So I think that's really the biggest challenge anywhere is if you get that started from the bottom, from the youth league to the middle school to the high school, and everybody has to have a good working relationship and keep all those kids together because football is hard enough already. And if we can't make it fun for the kids, they're not going to come out and play.
Coach, I think everybody in West Virginia knows about Caden Vance at this point. The kid's a stud, freak athlete on the hardwood and the gridiron. But, tell us about some of the other players that we're going to be writing about this year.
I think somebody, as far as skill players go, that I feel is one of the best around that I've seen. He's really transformed as a player from when he first started as Colton Lester. And you'll see him as a slot receiver, see him as the running back, you'll see him as a strong safety. Going to play a lot of positions for us. And we got a funny story on him when he first came out his sophomore year. I don't think he had played since youth league, and we got him back out because he's one of the best athletes in our school. We threw him out there in a game my first year coaching, and he came out late, so he wasn't eligible until midseason. We're playing Independence, who went on to win state championship, and we throw Colton out there, and he's lined up at receiver, and he's about 4 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage. He's even with Independence linebackers, just because he hadn't played, and it was all new to him. But I think he's somebody that's really going to surprise people this year because he's a hard-nosed, tough player. He can do a lot of different things, and we're super excited about him.
That's nerves at his finest, but I can't knock him. I remember first time in fifth grade, first time I got a chance to get on the field, Coach looked at me, and back then my last name was Ramey. He said, "Ramey," he said, "Get in there for Hinkle," and I took off running out there. And I literally lined up on the line without a helmet, and the refs and them, they thought it was funny, so they just let me line up. And the coach was like, "Get back here." So he ended up not putting me back in that game. So I learned my lesson quick. Make sure I was ready. So as we're going on talking about the linebacker core, who's the stud linebacker right now?
So we've got a couple guys in the mix right there, and two guys coming back that have played a lot of games for us was Cameron York, who also starts on the offensive line for us, and Cole Klein. Both of those guys will get the first reps at inside linebacker for us. So we're experienced there and happy about those two guys for sure.
Jimmy Johnson's tuning in. He said, "Cut Lester a break." So he was just trying to get behind the defense.
One of our assistants said he was playing Canadian football rules. He was getting a head start there. As we talk about the running back, talk about that. But tell us about the guys on both sides of the trenches. Yeah, that's something I was actually thinking about this morning before we got together. That's something that a lot of people have had a question mark about us and said, well, we know your skill guys are going to be good, but how about your linemen? And I think that's probably our best kept secret right now because I feel And it's no slight to the guys from the last two teams, but I think this is going to be our best group of linemen that we've had since I've been here, just because of our depth. And we were practicing last night, and we ended up going about 20 minutes over what we had scheduled because we had like 10 different combinations of guys on the offensive line that we were throwing out there, and we were running all of our stuff with guys at different positions. And the depth and experience that we have there, plus the maturity and the strength, because a lot of those guys are older and they spend a lot of time in the weight room. I think our guys up front on both sides of the ball are our best kept secret right now.
Now, who's the guy in the DB room?
That's probably going to be Braden Bishop, and you guys probably know him some from basketball. Yeah. Braden Bishop and Kyler Canada, both at corner.
Both of them, yeah.
And then Caden Vance will play some safety. So those guys, and they've done really well. And all the 7-on-7 stuff we did this summer, they made it tough on people in pass coverage and had a ton of interceptions and played great back there. So we're going to carry that over to the season.
Preseason starts this weekend. Who do y'all got?
We go to Greenbrier West on Saturday. So they just played for the Single A State Championship last year, and we've scrimmaged them every year since I've been here. I've got a great relationship with those guys down there, and I feel great about scrimmaging them every year because I know that they're going to be super fundamental, organized, disciplined, and very physical. So every year, this first scrimmage date, we find out what we're made of.
Now, when you look at your schedule, tell us a little bit about your schedule. Do you got it in front of you by chance?
Got it right here. Let me check real quick.
If you can, give us a rundown who you got from week 1 on out.
Okay, so we start out with Wyoming East at home. So that's our big county rivalry game. And regardless of the two teams' prior success or any preseason hype, that game is always crazy because everybody comes out to watch. Both teams really want to win. So we start out with them at home this year. And from there, we have Mingo Central comes here this year. And obviously that's going to be a big game for us because, again, they had a lot of success last year and preseason ranked pretty high this year. So we're excited to get them at home this year. And then from there, we go to Man, which is another playoff team from last year. That's always a big game. People don't realize how much of a rivalry the West Side and Man game is.
Oh, yeah.
Dating back, since our school opened 21 years ago, we've played every year, and it's been a back and forth rivalry, and we're really close. We're probably 35 minutes apart. So it's a super intense game always. From there, we have Pikeview at home, and they've had some coaching changes this year. From what I've seen, they've got a lot of kids that have been coming out and working hard in the weight room. So that's a game that we have to have at home. And then we go to Liberty Raleigh, who was super young last year, got a lot coming back. So we don't have many slouch games on our schedule at all. I think all these teams that didn't have much success last year are all going to be better this year. And then we have Independence at home after that. Obviously, it goes without saying the success that they've had and the job that they do up there. Then a new team on our schedule. We have Summers County at home this year, another playoff team from Single A last year that got bumped up to Double A. A couple of really nice players on their team, so that's a game that we're looking forward to. And then we go to Tug Valley, which has been a thorn in our side for 2 years now, and we're super familiar with each other. I think we've probably played 20 times in 7-on-7 in the last 3 years, but that should be a really good game, I think, over at Tug this year. And then we go to Shady Spring, which is another new team on our schedule. They always do a good job up there. People probably know them as a basketball school, but they're always pretty solid in football also. And then we finish up with Mount View at home, and that's another place that didn't have a lot of success last year, but had a coaching change, and I'm hearing some good things about them, so can never sleep on that team.
Man, that's a tough schedule, I mean, and listen, not putting any shade at all on Mount View, but, I mean, you really only got one game that, you can basically, preseason be like, okay, that's could be a win for us. Rest of them, it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you want to see where you're at, because if you make a cupcake schedule and then you go 9-1 and get to the first round of playoffs and you're not prepared and you get killed, I don't really see the value in that. So I think we have a really tough schedule. If you look down, I'm trying to think here. At least we got 5 playoff teams from last year, right off the bat. So it's going to be a tough schedule, but I think this year we have to find a way. There's a couple games that we've talked about as a coaching staff that if we can get a couple of those games that we've let slip in the last 2 years, I like where we stand.
Oh, yes. So, Coach, so which out of all the teams that you're going to play this season, which one would you say is going to be the biggest rivalry, the one game that you're looking forward to the most? Like for somebody
always Wyoming East, man. It's like I said. So, and it's a bigger rivalry in basketball because it's a basketball county, but the football game gets pretty rowdy too. I mean, the last 2 years that I've been part of the game as a coach, it's been extremely packed out crowds, and really the first year was super competitive all the way through. We won by one possession, and then last year we ended up running away in the second half, but it was a 1-point game at halftime. So that first week and all the jitters and nerves that come with it, playing in front of that big crowd, a lot of kids haven't seen it before. That game is always the one that's the biggest rivalry.
So do you get to play them at home or on the road this year?
Yeah, we got them at home this year, so that helps.
So which is sweeter, beating them at home or beating them on the road?
I've always said in games like that, football or basketball, I like winning on the road more. Now it's just as good to win, take care of business at home, but I always like to beat people at their place. I like that a little better as a player.
No surprise there. Go ahead, Bradley.
No, first of all, as a coach, you just probably want that win no matter where it is.
Yeah, regardless, man. The stress that I have as a coach is way worse than I ever had as a player, and I never dreamed that coming up. But oh my gosh, by the time we get to Friday, I'm just ready for it to be over.
We talked a little bit about like how big that rivalry was, and I tell you guys, I've been to a few Wyoming East West Side games over the years and both sports, and they're always great spectacles if nothing else. But the games are usually really great too. What I was going to talk a little bit about is kind of touched on your middle school program earlier there at Oceana. Coach Tilley's done a fantastic job, and I know this is kind of relates again back to earlier. They have a combined team there, don't they? The Baileysville
team. Yeah, that's something. So I saw that stuff yesterday about Birch Middle School, and we do that. I know both of our middle school programs in Wyoming County are combined. So our middle school team they wear Oceana uniforms, and that's what they go by. But we have kids from Oceana, Baileysville, Road Branch, Glen Fork, all of our feeder schools, the West Side, play at Oceana Middle School for football. And now I know Wyoming East does the same thing. So that's something I feel like in a small county in southern West Virginia that everybody should do, because it helps our kids too. When they get to high school, they've already spent 2 years playing together.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, and here in Kentucky, I mean, we already bleed over to that middle school system. I mean, I missed the grade school system when I was coming up. I think we had 8 grade schools that fed into Belfry, and then after I graduated, they started the middle school. But as soon as they started that middle school, and the coach and them players could get on the same page, that's when you really started seeing Belfry take off as a program and start bringing state titles back on both levels. So,
I think that you look at any of the really storied programs. I know in West Virginia for sure, one that I can think of specifically when Wayne had their run in AA about 10 or so years ago, and even back before that, probably going back about 20 years. Those guys, they had from what we were told down here, their youth program and their high school were running the same schemes all the way up. So from the time those kids were 7 years old until they were seniors in high school, they were in that system, and it just carried over every year to the success that they were having. I think that's kind of what it takes, that program building from ground up.
Now, trying to get see what we got a comment coming in. Jimmy Johnson says, love to hear what West Virginia football teams, regardless of class, that you all would like to see a Pikeville and Belfry come in and play every season, home and away series of the year. Well, that's tough because it's going to take a special program to play with, them two programs, year in, year out like that. It would have to. I'm trying to think if anybody in our coverage area, year in, year out could compete, because in most, it's not just West Virginia, and a lot of our smaller schools in Kentucky, you get good runs. You get 3 years when you'll be really, really good, and then you'll have a couple of years where you'll level off, and it's hard to sustain the greatness that the Pikeville and the Belfries have. So that would be a tough one, wouldn't it, Coach?
Yeah, for sure. I think I keep up with some Kentucky sports a little bit, and just seeing what those two teams do on a yearly basis is impressive. I think I would say, there's some teams that are close area-wise, like Mingo Central and Belfry, obviously pretty close, and Tug Valley also. But some of our bigger schools, I think, that would probably make for a better yearly matchup. You got the Cabell Midlands of the world. I think they might have played or scrimmaged at one point.
Yeah,
but,
they used to play in regular season.
Yeah, I think some of those teams in our bigger classification would be a good matchup yearly. But yeah, those two teams are impressive.
You take for instance, when Joey Fields was coach, and when Mingo was really popping, I think it was Drew Hatfield's senior year. They went over to the Pike County Bowl, and I think Pike will put about 50 on them. And that just tells you, there's a big difference between that. It's the schools on the West Virginia side are smaller schools, so they don't have the talent pool to pick from that these big programs in Kentucky do.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the SSAC too kind of handcuffs the schools in West Virginia more than the KHSAA does as well. Different rules as far as when you can work with players, how, and all that as well.
Yeah, I think we're totally behind the times as far as that stuff goes. You go to any other state, and the things that they're able to do with their players is just the way it should be. And I feel like we're hurting the kids here with the rules that we have, and I think they're going. Sorry about that.
It's crazy that you say that, because every single coach that we have on, every coach says the same thing. We're behind the times. We've got to fix this, but it never gets fixed. You would think with all your coaches, have a collective, ideal that, maybe you would listen to them. And, I hope things get changed sooner than later, because it's causing a lot of kids in West Virginia. They lose a lot of kids, especially around the border, lose them to other states, and so it's something that I think the WVSSAC needs to take a look at, doing a complete overhaul, and maybe getting with the times.
I think they need to take a look at some of our other states that surround us, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and see that. And you can tell when one of our teams goes and plays against somebody else, like you said earlier, and we get beat by 50 points, something's got to give, because we've got a lot of talented kids and great athletes and great coaches in West Virginia. But like we said, we're so behind as far as what we're allowed to do as coaches and as teams that it makes it hard to be competitive. And then also we lose kids to other states and other programs, and you can't really blame them, because they're going to better themselves. And here we are, we're getting told about rules of our players that can't wear certain mouthpieces, or they can't do eye black on their face. And all of us coaches have the same opinion. Why are we worried about this stuff that's not affecting the game?
Well, That's 100%, Coach. And but I know it's 9, so you're probably changing classes. So we're going to let you hop off here, Coach. But I tell you, it was a joy catching up with you. Anytime I can talk to you, definitely as middle of the season, we want to bring you back on, see how your season's going, and I just want to thank you for everything you do, welcoming us over there to, cover you guys and your kids. You make it very easy for us to promote your athletes. So definitely want to thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. And again, I appreciate what you guys do, not just for our athletes at Westside, but for everybody in Southern West Virginia and Kentucky. I think it's great for kids to get that promotion, and anybody from this area that we can send on to the next level. I'm happy to see it. So thanks for what you guys do.
There you go. Go Renegades, Coach. Go get them for us. And we'll see you here this weekend as you guys will start your first preseason game. We'll have Bradley catch up with you after and get some stats and stuff. But till then, good luck, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Guys, we'll take a quick commercial break. Be right back on the Startup Morning Show.
From Bruce Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Central America, head to Sal's Steakhouse. Sizzle your senses with mouthwatering steaks, juicy burgers, savory chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Sal's Steakhouse, where your taste buds will thank you. Unleash the flavor at Sal's. Taste tradition, taste the difference.
Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy, and Bradley Dameron, the Marbone Monster. As we are, as we're coming back, great interview. Listen, Justin Coger, class act, man. He was dealt a rough hand given the head coaching job at such an early age, but a lot of people thought giving a coach a job at that young age was a mistake, but he's proved a lot of people wrong. He's got a great program going there, and I think before he ends his career, he'll be one of the best to ever do it in Wyoming County.
Absolutely. And getting a coach at a young age, I mean, there can be a lot of benefits to that. I mean, they can, you get a coach that's going to be highly motivated to want to turn things around and make things well. And, you've got somebody for the future versus getting somebody older that, you might have to replace. Like this guy, he could be there for the next 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
I'll tell you too about Coach Coger. He's always been great about getting information out about his players. That first year, especially, they took some beatings. His first year there, they took some beatings and stuff. And you know what? Every week he's still sending out information every week. And as a media member, I appreciate that. But also, colleges and stuff he's sending out the info, what he can, and he's promoting his kids what he can, even on the bad days.
Yep. 100% love that about Coach Coger. Guys, don't know if you guys got to see this story. One of the neatest stories that I've seen here, and it blew my mind. The George Mason basketball team. Did you see this story, Bradley, where George Mason basketball team got scammed?
I did not, but I would love to hear about this.
Okay. Well, the basketball team, somebody reached out to the basketball team from the Bahamas and told them that they was having this tournament, and they wanted George Mason to come and play 5 local teams. And said basically, you're going to come, you're going to get all this publicity. It's going to be, and the coaches jumped on it because they was like, this would be a great team building situation where we can go and get the guys together preseason and, kind of go into the season with the guys, really bonding as a team. Well, what had happened is, so they got on a plane, spent $180,000 on this trip, got on a plane, and they went over there, went to the hotel where they got where the rooms were supposed to be booked, and nobody booked them. Well, then they ended up taking and messaged the guy back. It's like, well, where are we staying? Where are we playing? And nobody would answer them. So they got scammed. The people from the Bahamas got $180,000 from them. There never was a tournament. There never was 5 other teams to play. And George Mason was stuck overseas without a place to stay.
Do your research before you accept anything, man. That's all I can say.
I mean, how does this happen? I would never dream of this happening to a major Division I program.
I mean, these scammers are getting really good.
I mean, you think about that. Like, who in the world, what coach? I mean, I don't want to be too hard on the coach because, I got a good friend that plays for him, so I don't want to be too hard for him. But, for you guys that don't know, former Man Hillbilly state champion Austin Ball is one of the stars on the team. And, I was with Austin yesterday, and I forgot to ask him about this situation, but this is tough, man. How in the world does the coaching staff not do their due diligence and like, okay, who are we playing? Okay, let me reach out to one of the coaches on that team and see what's going on. But where the mix-up is George Mason allowed a third party company to book it. So that's where everything got mixed up, is that third party they was the ones that ended up spending the money and making the plans. George Mason's coach, I take that back. It's not on the coaches because the coaches didn't plan this. It was that third party.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's kind of on the athletic director, wouldn't you think? I mean, not really doing the research on it.
Well, you would think.
Yeah.
You would think but I want to get y'all's fans thoughts on this. Whose fault was this? Was it the ADs, the coaches, the third party, or what? I guess at the end of the day, you're shelling out that kind of money. I mean, listen, it makes me want to do a Ponzi scheme if I think I can get over that easy on somebody.
The thing is, Darryl, ironically, going through that experience probably is a team building exercise. They all shared that same horrible experience together.
That's true. Yeah. So I guess it ended up happening anyways. I mean, that's something that they can build and bond over. So the Jimmy Johnson says someone said that it wasn't a Nigerian prince that scammed them, but rather the Donald Trump campaign that scammed the George Mason to help pay for his legal fees and fledgling campaign. He said, I kid. Well, I think Trump's got, I think 180,000 is probably pocket change to that, man. But, it definitely a tough situation. And, it's, I'll see Austin again on Thursday. And, I may bring Austin on the show and get him to tell us what that whole ordeal was about.
That would be fantastic. I tell you, just getting his perspective, Darryl, on like just going through that, even if he doesn't know all the ins and outs and how it got set up, that had to be something as a player or even one of the staff. You're excited, you're geared up, and you go there and suddenly you're stranded.
Yeah, you're sitting on the team bus. Coach goes in to get the key cards to the rooms, and then guys come back scratching your head. I don't know what we're going to do here, but but as we move on, guys, that was a bad story. I'm going to tell you about a good story. Check this video out that one of our great viewers, Jimmy Johnson, sent to us.
Around you to get to the quarterback, right? They ain't gonna be able to do that with you right here. Okay, I'm gonna tell you where you messed up at. Look, right here, the first thing you did, you was down. The first thing you did was stood straight up. No, you gonna remember you down. Set. First step. You the defensive end. Come push. I ain't moving. What's gonna be your first step? Okay. See how you wobbling already? You out here already one because you ain't got a good set. Once you get in, you driving his ass out and away so that the runner can come straight through. Hey. Okay. That's how you block.
Love that, man.
That was awesome.
How many moms, and I don't know whether that was a single mom or not, but that's just a great story coming. That's something that a lot of moms don't get credit for it, but a lot of moms build this love and this foundation in these kids, and the dads get the credit. I'll give credit to my wife. If it wasn't for her, my son wouldn't be the basketball player he is. At an early age, she put a ball in his hands and made sure he was out around the basketball go 24/7. And, so now I may get the credit for him, but, she's the one that started that, and, that mom right there, it definitely put a smile on my face to see that mom teaching her kid to play football, especially a sport that women ain't known to play. For her to get out and her to know the nuances of football, just to be able to teach him that, she was spot on, telling him low man wins, I hope that kid ends up being something special.
Mama has good technique, Darryl. She knew what she was talking about. That kid needs to listen to his mom because, man, she was right on everything. And she was telling him exactly what he needed to do. She was correcting him, and she was doing it in a really good way, too.
Yeah. Listen, whoever your local school is, sign that lady up as a coach.
Yeah, put her in there, man, because she knew what she was doing. That boy's going to be better because his mom was working with him.
Oh yeah, and listen, that's something I'd like to see anyways. Is more women get in the football world because in basketball, you always got moms that's team moms, but imagine if you had a mom as a coach on a coaching staff that, I guarantee you things would be a lot more disciplined. So as we're moving on, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we should have Mingo Central wideout, Aiden Burke, one of the top wide receivers in the mountains. You don't want to miss this one. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show. Loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family owned and family operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Burgee, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
Law High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
And we are back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt to my left. I'm Darryl McCoy, Bradley Dameron, and we got Mingo Central superstar wideout JJ Pruitt, Aiden Burke. Good morning, Aiden.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man. As we're sitting here, JJ, he's going to kill me. He's been excited for this interview, so me and Bradley's going to let him have you first.
All right, Aiden. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for coming on to the show, and I also want to say thank you for allowing me to wear this throwback jersey. But I want to talk a little bit about your journey into football. At what point did you realize that it was something that you wanted to do, and what were your training sessions like whenever you were growing up?
Well, y'all know my Uncle Terrence and my family's got a real deep history of playing football, being athletes and all that. So it started at a young age. Like when I was 4 years old, I started playing flag football over in Belfry. And growing up, really just being around like all my uncles and everybody, Terrence and Blaine, they always, pushed me, had me tackle them in the living room growing up, like just in the yard throwing and all that. And then as I got older, it got more serious, The competition got better. So there's things you had to do to just keep up with the older guys and get better at the sport. So,
the first time that I ever saw you play, it was a clip whenever you were at Belfry Middle School. I saw you catch a pass over two defenders. And I was like, Jesus, I saw that, 20 years ago. So my question to you would be, when did you feel like you finally had your first breakout game where you felt like, I've arrived and I'm finally, playing at a really high level?
Well, I think it came with the decision of being held back after my 8th grade year at Bay 1 and, moving to Belfry, because Belfry, when I got over there, it was like a whole different environment. Like, the football was more serious, like competition. I was playing older guys because being held back in Kentucky is a big change. So I think playing older guys and being able to excel, playing other good kids that play football, I think that really helped me out.
So you played for a head coach who has won on the high school level. He had a great collegiate career at the University of Kentucky on the Division I level. And he even got drafted to the pros as well. So can you tell me what some of the main things are that you take from Coach Jones that may separate him from the other head coaches that you played in the past?
Well, Coach Jones, he's more than just a coach to me. I've known him my whole life. He's friends with Terrence and Blaine. Grew up around him. So I think knowing that we have that type of relationship, he's not gonna let me go easy, or he's not gonna have any type of slack on me. He's always gonna make sure I'm doing what I need to do. He's gonna make sure I'm going hard at what I need to do, and he's gonna make sure I get it done.
Well, I definitely think you're going to get it done. Talk to me a little bit about your new quarterback that you recently got this year, Jackson. What has it been like playing with him? Have you guys been able to develop some chemistry? Have you been able to get a lot of reps in this summer?
Yeah, for sure. Me and Jackson, we also grew up together. His dad and he's got a good relationship with my mom. They know each other as friends or whatever, and so we've been around each other for a while. So having him as my quarterback is like really, to me, having like another quarterback like Chris, because me and Chris grew up together. So I think that's a big part of us being on the same page. Like, he knows how I run my routes, the timing that I run my routes on. So being on the same page I think is a good deal.
Well, that's good. And I got one more for you for now. Last season, you guys suffered a heartbreaking loss, after your quarterback sustained an injury during the playoffs. Can you tell me how that loss affected you, whether it's on a negative or in a positive way? And what are you going to do this year to try to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, honestly, I think last year coming into the Phil Barber game, we had talked all kinds of junk, and I don't know, man. It just left a bad taste in their mouth this year, and I think that feeling of taking a close loss last year, it's not a great feeling. So I think that feeling is going to make us I think it's going to make sure that don't happen again. It's not great, but I think we'll bounce back from that this year and have a good run in the playoffs.
So not only did it humble you, but it also gave you motivation as well.
1,000%.
Go ahead, Bradley.
Aiden, I just want to talk a little bit about this is coming into the second year of David Jones's tenure as head coach at Mingo Central, how is it different approaching going into the system this year as opposed to last year?
I think last year, I think people was more like let's see how this goes type of deal, and I think it went real great last year. We had a great season, and I think everybody's expecting us to kind of come back and have that same type of season that we had last year. And I think when everybody's feeling that we're going to have a great year and come back strong like last year, I think that feeds off on the guys and the team. And so I think everybody expecting the best out of us makes us want to perform for them and show out for them. So I think that's how we'll take it, is we'll have a good season and come out ready to play.
With like last year, a few guys graduated. I know, like Malachi Shepard and all that. With that being said, coming into this season, do you expect to have maybe a bit of an expanded role on offense?
Honestly, we got some dogs that didn't really get a lot of shine last year that I think will surprise a lot of people. So I'm not really worried about that. I think Donovan Valdalmark is our Joplin. We got a freshman, Jacob Maynard. I think they'll really surprise some people this year. So I think we'll be all right.
Now, Aiden, obviously, they talk football, but what I love watching you play is on the hardwood. You're a dual sport athlete. Are you going to play basketball again this year?
Last year during the basketball season, we was playing Lincoln County, and I hurt my ankle, so sent me out for about 4 months. So I don't really know if I'm gonna come back and play basketball this year, but if I do, I guess everybody will see me out there. But I haven't really made that decision yet.
Well, I hope you do, because I really enjoy watching the way you play basketball. Your motor's a little bit different than other people's, so I think you'd be cheating Mingo fans if you didn't play. But as we move on, you play for Coach David Jones. He's the best when it comes to the recruiting side of things, and he learned from the best. He learned from the GOAT, Philip Haywood. You got to play for Philip Haywood as well. Did having David come from that Philip Haywood and that Pond Creek system, did that help the transition period, make it easier? And how close does he run things compared to the way things is run on Pond Creek?
I think it's very similar. At Belfry, everything was like real organized, and they wanted the best out of you and pushed you and yelled at you, screamed at you, whatever, to make sure you're doing your best job. So I think him experiencing that and being around that for as long as he was, I knew coming over to Mingo that nothing was going to be easier. So he pushes still and screams at us still and all that. So I'm kind of just used to it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. You go into last year, I think, y'all really surprised everybody up there on Minor Mountain. I think people thought y'all could be good, but I didn't think they'd think y'all be as good as you are. From what you're seeing with this team right now, do you have a chance to exceed what that team done last year, or is it going to? Does Mingo Central fans need to be a little patient with you guys until middle of the season? How do you feel where you're at right now at this point to where you was last year at this point?
I think 1,000% that we got a strong team. We got some big guys up front. We got good skills. Dylan Vance returns our running back, and also other than Dylan, we got another running back, Bam Coleman, Jace Coleman. He's a dog, but I think a bunch of teams from last year lost a couple of guys. So I think everybody losing a couple of guys and everybody graduating and new players, new plays, new offenses, new different stuff. I think we've been working. So I think that we're just as strong, or if not stronger than last year. So I think we'll still surprise a lot of people this year.
Who, as you're sitting there, what do you think that when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, a lot of people don't know you're an elite DB.
Uh,
What side of the ball do you like playing the most?
I gotta say wide receiver just because I mean that's what everybody sees me as. But defense is great too. I love being on that side of the ball. I really love playing defense with Keith because he's always fired up, keeping everybody going. So it's always fun being on defense too.
Well, as we're sitting here and looking, I mean, this weekend you got Johnson Central coming to town. You're probably the only kid on the roster that's played Johnson Central. Are you kind of telling the boys, hey, listen, this is a different breed coming to Minor Mountain? Are you letting them know that they're going to have to be on their A game Friday night?
Yeah, absolutely. I've told a bunch of guys how they are. I mean, they play hard-nosed football, ready to hit you, ready to run the ball. So we're going to see how tough we are on the 16th this Friday when we play them.
You excited?
I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to see where we're at on not a playing football level, like a skill level. I'm ready to see where we're at as a toughness level. Like if we're going to keep battling, keep hitting, keep grinding out, because I know they're going to come ready to hit, ready to play.
Well, I think we're in the golden age right now, wide receivers. It's been a long time since we've had this many elite wide receivers in the mountains. And, right now, if you had me to say who the top three are, it would probably be you, Noah Kilburn from Leslie County, and then the kid from Ashland, are probably the three top wideouts. That brings me into our fan questions. Who, if you had your dream and if things went the way that Aiden Burke wanted them to go, what was your dream college to play for?
Honestly, I don't want to play at West Virginia, but I really loved Penn State my whole life. I don't know what it is about Penn State, but I've loved watching Penn State, and I don't know. I just like Penn State a lot, but I'd love to play at West Virginia. That'd be my dream. If I could go somewhere, I'd go to play at West Virginia.
Well, I would choose West Virginia over Penn State, especially at your position, because they don't throw the ball a lot at Happy Valley.
Yeah.
So as you're sitting here, if we was to get up with you earlier before you got on the show here, what could we catch you eating? What's your favorite cereal?
Honestly, probably some Reese Puffs. I just ate me some not too long ago.
Okay.
Reese Puffs. That's my stuff.
All right. Now, and this is not a fan question, but Coach Jones, I've seen him many times on to his players. What do you think about Coach Jones's rules not letting his players drink pop?
Well, I mean, we had that rule at Belford too. I feel like any coach is going to tell you that, really. So I drink a lot of water. I drink pop every now and then, but I hope you're watching it. But.
You're going to be running laps. You better watch it. So what's your favorite shoe?
Probably definitely some Jordans. I got a couple pairs of those. I like me some Jordans.
What cleats you rocking this year?
I think I'm gonna give me a pair of custom cleats. I found a pair of Louis Vuitton cleats online, and I think I'm gonna try and get those.
Okay, all right. Now, if Aiden could play any sport that you don't currently play, what sport do you think you would want to play and that you would be good at?
I don't know if I'd be good at it, but I'd like to play hockey. I'd like to try to play some hockey. I think that's an interesting sport, to get to fight all the time, just float around on ice. So I think that'd be pretty fun.
You're probably going to have to move away from here for that one.
Yeah, probably.
Do another transfer there as you got season coming up. If we was to catch you in the locker room, go through your playlist. Give us the top 3 artists on your playlist.
I listen to all kinds of different music. I listen to country music, rap music, some R&B, love music. But probably right now would be Young Boy, Boss Man D-Lo, and 027 Quantity probably.
Oh my God! Listen, OT7 Quantity is trash. Caleb Rimmer told me that, and I hope you're joking with me because that dude is trash, Aiden.
No, I'll listen to him. Me and Don's that's his favorite rapper, so I hear him all the time. I'm with Don all the time, so.
Oh my God! Well, turn the station next time because he is horrible. Now I've not heard Boss Man D-Lo, so me and JJ after the show when we're out selling, we'll definitely turn on some Boss Man D-Lo in the D&D mobile and see. We'll see what you're listening to there. Now, as you're sitting here, when Coach Jones gets too hard on you, who's your go-to coach? What's the coaches that get you out of tough situations up there?
We got a new wide receiver coach, Clark. He's relaxed. He's cool. He knows what he's talking about. But Josh Salmons, he's calm. If I'm doing something wrong or if Coach Jones sees I messed up on something, Coach Salmons will walk up to me and he'll fix it. But yeah, probably Coach Clark and Coach Salmons.
Salmons, your OC, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he does an amazing job up there. He's got some head coaching experience under his belt as well. So whenever when Aiden relaxes, what's your favorite sports movie to kick back and relax to?
That's a good one. It's probably either Little Giants, Benchwarmers, or probably Remember the Titans too. I like that movie.
Those are three classics.
Yeah.
Probably the three best ones I've heard so far. Aiden, when you look at your schedule, you got one team, one date circled. What game do you have circled on your calendar?
Oak Valley.
That's game one, right?
Game one. That's all I'm worried about.
Game one. Well, I tell you what, Aiden, I cannot wait. I know you're going to explode. A lot of people are going to be excited to see you this year because I really think you're due for a monster season. I mean, you've already, took that top 3 spot. This year you got a chance with Jackson Nenny Mills throwing the ball to you. You got a chance to be the number 1 wide receiver in the Cofields, and I have no doubt that you'll get there. You keep doing what you're doing. You got big fans here at D&D Sports Network.
I appreciate that.
All right, Aiden, I want to definitely thank you for joining us here on the Startup Morning Show, and we will see you Friday night up on Minor Mountain. Do your thing.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Aiden.
Thanks, Aiden.
We'll take a quick commercial break. Be right back here on the Startup Morning Show. The best pizza and pasta around. Stop by Conley Brothers Giovanni's in Prestonsburg, Kentucky. Right now, Conley Brothers Giovanni's now has a new drive-thru for your convenience. Great deals, great service. Conley Brothers Giovanni's, proud supporter of all mountain athletes.
In America, what does that mean? It means jobs. It means craftsmanship. And when it comes to Vaughn Bassett Furniture, it means value. And Kemper recognizes that. That's why they've dedicated an entire gallery to Vaughn Bassett. Made in America. See the quality. And now, see the price. Come see your favorite Kemper store in Hazard, London, or Somerset.
Central America, head to Sal's Steakhouse. Sizzle your senses with mouthwatering steaks, juicy burgers, savory chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Sal's Steakhouse, where your taste buds will thank you. Unleash the flavor at Sal's. Taste tradition, taste the difference.
And we are back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt to my left, Bradley Dameron to my right, and I am Darryl McCoy. As guys, an amazing interview with an amazing young man. That kid is a class act. I love me some Aiden Burke.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to see. They got a game on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Well, Bradley, yeah, I know JJ. Yeah, I don't know how much JJ knows about it, but I tell you what, the Mingo Central boys, they better be ready on Friday night because this isn't your normal football team coming to Minor Mountain.
No, it is not. Man, get ready, Mingo Central. You've got a tough one, but iron sharpens iron, and they're going to probably see the best. I'll just be honest with you. They'll probably see the best team they'll see all year, unless maybe they make a deep playoff run. There might be a one or two teams in Double A that could match up, but in the regular season, I mean, they won't see a team as strong as they'll see on Friday.
And Aiden Burke up there on Minor Mountain, that's got to make Coach Jones's job a little bit easier because Aiden did come from the same system as Coach Jones, and he knows how things are supposed to be run. And when you got a player like that can step up and be your captain, be a guy that can tell the players like, listen, nah, none of that tomfoolery. This is how we're doing it. That's got to make a coach's job easier.
Absolutely, and I mean, let's just face it. Mingo Central made some great strides last year, but for Aiden, it was just kind of like picking up in a lot of ways. I mean, a different place and things were a little different, but just a continuation of this is how things are supposed to be done because he was already used to that.
Guys, did you see this? Chicken wings. We got a lady from Chicago. And I do not. Lavelle Miller. She is a 63-year-old woman from Chicago that ordered. She was the head of the school board, and she ordered $300,000 in chicken wings over a 2-year period. And it was when COVID hit, and they was given a budget for all these food vouchers and stuff. She was given these she was given control of the food, and she was supposed to be sending food to the kids that was doing classes virtually, and she didn't. She wasn't passing that food on. Well, come to find out, they $300,000. That was doubled what their annual food budget was in the previous years, and she spent $300,000 halfway through the year. Halfway through 1 year, she spent $300,000. That's double. They normally spent $150,000 a year. She spent $300,000, and come to find out, this lady ended up taking, and it said that they thought she might be selling them to restaurants and other places, and said that she took some to a family cookout, said that she was making money off of these and wasn't sending the money to the kids. Well, come to find out, there was a rule anyways. They said what raised suspicion is that the school wasn't allowed to give kids chicken wings anyways because it has a bone in it.
So, I mean, at what point did they become suspicious? I mean, that's $300,000 is a lot of money. So it's like you would think that they would catch it a little earlier than.
And she was using a company van as well, a company van to go pick them up and take them and distribute. They said she was getting a school board van. She would go pick the chicken wings up, and then it was Gordon Foods is who she ordered them from. She'd go pick them up, and then she was just like a food distribution company. She would go around to these different restaurants in the Chicago area and drop off their orders. She had a business going and was paying for it from the school, the money through the school vouchers.
She had a Chick-fil-A van.
Yeah, yeah, basically
Chick-fil-A type van.
Yeah, I mean, good gimmick, but it ended up if this lady's convicted, she faces up to 9 years in prison at 63 years old. That's a rough one.
That is a rough one, but the thing is though, Darryl, she knew what she was doing was wrong. You know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like If you can't face the consequences, don't go do that.
That's it. If you can't pay the time, don't do the crime, right?
That's right.
So as we move on, guys, don't know if you guys seen this horrible story coming out of Paris, Texas. Got this guy. His name is Edgar James Brogdon from Paris, Texas, arrested for giving his 4-month-old infant making it drink gasoline. And come to find out, he admitted that he was trying to kill the kid, and said he's 20. Brogdon, he's 24 years old, and said that 24 years old, he wasn't ready to be a dad. Cops come, and he took off running. Well, they ended up catching him, and he admitted right away. Tough situation there, man. Listen, you're in Texas. That's attempted murder on an infant. And as you know, they got the death penalty in Texas. I don't think he'll get the death penalty because he didn't kill anybody, but they got capital punishment, and it will be. I read on a thing where he's looking at a minimum of 29 years in prison. Tough situation. If he thought that raising an infant was a tough job, wait till you spend the next 29 years in prison. It would have been much easier to raise this infant and do right by your kid.
Or find somebody that, may want to be a parent themselves.
Yeah. Very tough situation there. Hate to hear that, for the kid. And, a lot of people, they don't understand, situations like this. If you're not ready to be a parent, then be a more responsible adult, and don't put yourself in that situation. Right, Bradley?
Exactly. And like I said, tough situation, but, and I'm glad, first of all, I'm glad the kids, the kid didn't die. I'm glad that he didn't kill the baby, the infant. But as far as he goes, him going away for 29 years. Yeah, that sounds about right. You try to kill an infant, you should probably go away for a long, long time.
You should definitely go away for a long, long time. That's a very tough situation. Don't know if you guys got to see this, but Isaac Hayes' family is suing Donald Trump. Don't know, are any of y'all familiar with this story?
No, but I'm familiar with Isaac Hayes.
Okay, Isaac Hayes' song, Hold On, I'm Coming. Trump uses as he comes into the rallies. He's used it on multiple campaign videos. And Isaac Hayes' family said, first of all, Trump didn't pay for it. And second of all, that Trump, they don't believe in what Trump stands for. Isaac Hayes' family says he's a male chauvinist and a racist, and doesn't want Isaac Hayes' family associated with Donald Trump. Now, who's going to win this case, guys?
I mean, when it comes to music, think about what we have to do on Facebook. We always have to say, I do not own the rights to this song. So in this situation, if they didn't get permission to play the music whenever he comes out, then
I don't think Donald Trump can say, I don't own the rights to this music.
I mean,
I don't think that'd get him out of the situation.
No, but I just mean in general. It's one of those situations where he didn't get permission, so they have a valid case.
Yeah, copyright laws and stuff. And that's if his estate owns the rights to the music. Sometimes the music is, other people own it or own a version.
There's three parties. It's actually not the Isaac Hayes song. Isaac Hayes wrote the song, but it's Isaac Hayes' son or grandson that's suing.
Okay, so it would depend on who owns the rights to the song.
Yeah.
But if he didn't, but regardless, if that's how it is, and he didn't pay for the rights for the song, then
it don't matter. This is a joke, man. Where are we in America? Like, if somebody wants to play a song, it's sad that you have to go and like at a campaign rally. You're really going to raise Cain over something like that. I'm about fed up with the America we live in, man. It's tough. Like, I get it. Everybody's wanting to make a penny off, whatever, but, I just think that we're going too far with this. Back in the 80s, play whatever song you want. And there wasn't any repercussions or anything. I understand, like, if you're trying to build a business off a song or something like that, and listen, they should be happy because go look what Donald Trump done for 50 Cent's career. 50 Cent, nobody had heard from him in 5-6 years, and all of a sudden he's the most popular man, on Facebook right now because of Donald Trump, and at the end of the day, just quit whining. And I hate this so happy world we're in.
I believe the amount of publicity he got, I think his song play increased by like 300%.
Yeah.
So
did you plan on listening to Isaac Hayes anytime soon, Bradley?
No, but I have listened to Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, got Shaft.
Yeah, Shaft. Anyway, Isaac Hayes wore a lot of hats. But at the same time, though, if you own something, if it's your intellectual property, it would be like someone going out and using our logo or something, our D&D logo that we own, for their own benefit. I think that's the thing. Like, whatever political differences, ideology, whatever, whatever, people have differences in that. But if you own something, you get to decide, whether or not someone is allowed to use it, and if they are, or if they need to pay you for it or whatever. That's just kind of how it goes. You don't want anyone stealing your intellectual property. As a person who writes, I've been plagiarized before. I've had someone straight up take my story and use it word for word and put their name on it at another publication. And I'm telling you right now, man, that it's a similar type of deal. They use that to make money and put it as their own. And that's the thing. You don't want anyone to take something that's your own.
Yeah, you don't. But at the end of the day, I'm not. Listen, one thing, and I hate it because in the business that we're in, it's very tough because we've been threatened to be sued at least 8 times. And it sucks because it could be something as simple as just using a little thumbnail of a picture. People wouldn't even know what the original picture come from, but you just crop a head out, and then all of a sudden you're starting to get messages that if you don't take this down, you're going to get sued. And I hate that, man. D&D, we put a disclaimer out where if there's any picture, any video that D&D has that anybody can use to help a mountain athlete, use it. We don't need credit. If you want to give us credit, great. We appreciate it. But if you don't, there's going to be no repercussions, because if it's to help kids, that's what we're here for at the beginning. And that's why our sponsors, make this possible for us to do. And, I don't know. I come from a different belief. I think at the end of the day, if you got something that will help somebody else, then, as long as they're not trying to, build a business or, make money off from, your song or something, then, go ahead.
I will say this, and from our perspective, a lot of times, people will submit stuff to us, and we love that. We love every submission we get and keep them coming. Love them every day. But maybe, and they won't know what, they may not even know where a picture came from. Here's a picture I found of this person. And then you find out, well, that photo is owned by this, and maybe the watermark had already been cropped out or something.
Yeah.
And you don't know, you're just sharing what you think, what looks like maybe been like a parent's photo they took on their own personal device.
Yeah.
And and
it happens all the time. Parents, and then parents, some of them will say so and so took it and not tell you exactly where it comes from. So, very tough situation there. But, I listen, I'm on Trump's side on this one. So, guys, don't know if you got to catch this. Over 400 Big Lots stores are closing across America. They said that Big Lots has started to focus on just being solely a furniture store, and it has killed their business. Said that consumers are either shopping at stores the level of Dollar Tree or the Walmarts. Said the middle stores are getting cut out. Said stores like Big Lots and Ollie's will become a thing of the past.
Well, my first thought is, I wonder if they've got any sales going on right now.
JJ's waiting for them coupons to come out, but tough situation. I hope the Big Lots, I think they said that they was out of these 400, there was a ton of them from Kentucky that was getting shut down. I hope the one in South Williamson doesn't, because I know a lot of people depend on that, especially there in that Williamson community. You go there, most people from Williamson shops there at Big Lots, and I really hope that they're able to keep that one. And listen, they make quality furniture, affordable furniture. I would dare to say that probably 40% of the Cofields, or especially here in our area, in the Tug Valley area, probably get their furniture from Big Lots.
Yeah, well, and I think the one in South Williamson is safe. I don't think it's one of the ones that were closing.
Good.
But I agree with you. I've gotten a lot of furniture at Big Lots over the years. I won't lie to you. That's been one of my go-to places.
Yeah, 1,389 stores across America, 400 of them shutting down. That'll leave less than 1,000 Big Lots in America. So tough situation there for the folks at Big Lots. So moving on, one business shutting down, another one picking up. New steakhouse coming to the area, guys. Don't know if you got to see this. And not only that, a lot of nostalgia coming with it. The Toronto Steakhouse and Mexican Bar and Grill coming soon will be at the old Borderline. So as you're sitting here, I spent many nights as a teen and as a young adult in this place. And, to say I'm excited would be an understatement. Owners Paul Howard put it out yesterday. Said they're going to remodel it, and it's going to be a nice steakhouse where you can get a drink. And Toronto Steakhouse coming to Williamson, West Virginia. Y'all excited?
I'm definitely excited. I mean, that's nostalgia for me, because when you walk in, it's just the way that the entire place is set up. I mean, I'll be curious to see what it looks like.
Well, I hope on opening night that they have it filled with foam, and I hope at closing time, I hope sometime during the night they play pour some sugar on me.
Or Return of the Mac.
Yeah, I hope they do a little bit of that to feed the Borderline crowd, because I know a lot of people. Listen, in this business, we meet a lot of people in Ashland, Johnson County. No matter where I've went, everybody, when I tell them where we're from, they say Borderline. So. And before that, it was called Rumors. I'm trying to think what the other. It's been called 4 or 5 different names, but there's Rumors, Borderline.
For me, it was Shooters and Salty Dogs.
Shooters. Yeah. Well. So, but I'm glad the building is being put to use, and that Williamson's getting another nice restaurant to eat at. That's, and, right there, you're going to have 2 of the best restaurants right there together. 3 Guys Pizza and Brew and Borderline next door to each other. So, whether you're wanting to go watch a ball game and, have a cold beverage, or, and get a pizza, or, sub sandwich, or whether you want a nice night out with your lady or your family, you can get it both right there next door to each other in Williamson, West Virginia on Harvey Street.
Yeah, and I was never a Borderline a person who went there, but I drove by there enough. I definitely know where it is.
Well, you used to work right down the street from it, so I'd say you did drive back down it
every day for a good while. Yeah.
So, guys, also don't know if you got this story. School district canceling field trips because of low test scores in math and reading. This is coming out of Tennessee, Fayetteville, Tennessee. School district is canceling field trips. Parents are irate, saying that field trips are educational and that this shouldn't be the case. Are you on the parent side or are you on the school side in this one, guys?
I'm on the school side. I mean, if you get like the thing about field trips is, the purpose for them is to reward students.
Yep.
Or at the end of the year, not so rewarding just to get them something to do, but at the end of the day, you have to perform in the classroom if you want to have an opportunity to take these trips.
I see a little of both, because I would look at the types of field trips they're taking, because there absolutely are field trips that can be educational and can help students and help grow that knowledge. But they're also like, there's some failing in the classroom there, whether it's on the teachers, administration, whatever. There's some failing there they need to reconcile. But I would maybe, instead of just straight canceling all field trips, look at what field trips, and if you're taking one, make sure it is 100% educational, that the students will benefit from it that way.
I rarely disagree with you, Bradley, but you're in the wrong on this. School board is right. Listen, at the end of the day, when I was growing up, the school, the reason you got field trips was to reward you for the great work you done in the classroom. And the teachers would say, listen, you got to get this many stickers, or you got to get this to get to go on this field trip. Listen, I mean, they're trying to motivate kids to do better in the classroom. And listen, parents, instead of complaining that somebody's actually stepping up and trying to hold your kids accountable, how about you hold them accountable? And when they get home at night, take the phone out of their hand and put a book in it. How about you do that, parents, and then quit blaming the school board? That's what we need to do. Parents need to calm down here. Let the school board do their job. Maybe America would be a better place.
I agree with you on the parents. I just think, like, I'm an interactive learner myself. So I think there are situations, like I said, Darryl, there are some trips that, yeah, they may be fun, but you learn. Like, you go from there knowing something. Like, let's say, for example, I only say this because I went to college near it. The Antietam National Battlefield was near my college there. If you were living near something like that, when you're talking about like the Civil War or something, I think that's a situation. It's one thing, if you read it in a book, it's another thing when you're there and you can see it and they tell you and visualize it. So I do think there are exceptions.
But I would also say to that, like, most of the field trips that I took, none of the kids paid attention to the educational part. They were just happy to get out of class.
I actually learned. I remember going to Pikeville to the newspaper, learning about the printing press. I remember going to the jail and them teaching you about how police officers use dogs. I remember going to COSI in Columbus. I mean, they was very educational. We went to trying to think of the Fort Boonesboro, really neat field trip that we done. So I mean, I think, you go and you have fun, but I think by result that you remember and you learn something, whether you're trying to look over it or not. But it still don't change the fact that, listen, if school don't want to send kids, listen, if your test scores are bad, and and I get it, the parents are probably like, all the kids are worried, or all the school board is worried about is high test scores so they can get money, certain money that's allowed by the state. If you get high test scores, I know Belfry, like, I'm pretty sure that they got extra kickback whenever they was a blue ribbon school of excellence. And, so I would say that's probably where the thought's coming from. But at the end of the day, listen, do right by your kids' parents, and, stop yelling at these coaches, these teachers, these school board members that's trying to hold your kid accountable, and make sure that, that we do got a bright future, instead of kid that's raised on a cell phone and eating Tide Pods and junk like that. Open the math book, open the textbook, and put down the cell phone.
Yeah, and you can always bring in special guests too, like Bradley said, for people that are hands-on. You can bring in other people to come into the classroom and do presentations and teach them a little bit. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, there's easy ways for
Yeah.
kids to learn these days. Jeremy
Absolutely.
Pinson says, "Quick watching Flintstones and get your booty to Toronto's." There we go. Carl Whitey Little says, "Great interview, 2 great interviews, great stories today, great show, D&D." Appreciate you, Whitey Little. We still got a couple more topics to run by real quick. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre is hitting the news again, guys. He's saying that he's going to compete in the 2028 Olympics as an archer. Guys, do you think Dr. Dre could be good at archery?
The only thing I want Dr. Dre to do is release the Detox album that he's been talking about for the last 15 years.
Well, what I want and listen, this just tells you the growth in Dr. Dre over the years. You know, he put down the gat and picked up a bow and arrow. So, hey, less violence in the streets and becoming a Robin Hood. So, Dr. Dre, guys, I'm all behind it. I would love to see Dr. Dre representing America as an archer.
He's got 4 years to get it together. He might be pretty good.
He can't be worse than the Australian breakdancer, right?
Exactly. And the more I learned about this girl, the more I like her. You know, she ended up saying, listen, I'm old. I knew I wasn't going to be good, so I wanted to do something that would bring attention. And so at the end of the day, her country got attention, and she done something that made her kids in her class smile. And I kind of dig this girl, and I hope she capitalizes on her success. You know, she's been made fun of enough. I hope she takes and goes and does appearances at nightclubs and does her little dance and makes all the money in the world.
And the level of confidence that she has is something that should be admired by everybody.
Oh yeah,
because that level of confidence can get you very far in life.
I mean, she literally laid down on the floor and ran in a circle like Curly from Three Stooges at one point.
I promise you, that's the same dance I used to do when I was trying to get my mom's attention as a kid. What's this, Mom? And
look what I can do.
Yeah, spin around on your head. But as you're sitting there, speaking of Dr. Dre in the 2028 Olympics, I seen that Los Angeles put a report out that they will make sure that they announced that no cars will be in the city of Los Angeles during the Olympics. Do you think that's possible?
I mean, that would be very difficult. I don't know how you're going to get around that because people are still going to have to work. But
said they would have athletes. Said athletes would be bussed into the city. That's going to be very hard. And I understand their thoughts probably is, if you remember when it was in China a few years ago, they was talking about the smog and, it's probably talking about, how it's affecting athletes' breathing and stuff like that, as I'd say is probably what the thought process behind it is. But at the end of the day, listen, that's tough to do. But, I really hope that they find a way, to make sure, because anytime it's here on our home grounds, we want to make sure it goes off without a hitch. And, listen, if they're able to do it without any cars, then, hats off to them. But I just don't see that happening.
I mean, I'm excited for the Olympics to come to the United States. I don't know. Hopefully 4 years from now, maybe I can figure out a way to go see an Olympic event or two. But that's a long way away. And
have you ever been to the Olympics?
No. I wish I'd gone in Atlanta in '96, but it was just one of those things. Like, I was 18 years old at the time and still living at home with mom and dad. And I don't think they were too keen on going to. They just rather watch it on TV.
Well, little tidbit. I was at the '96 Olympics. My cousin was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia, and the day that the Olympic bombing went off at Centennial Park, we had just went and watched an Olympic softball game. And we had just went and watched it, and we was on our way home when we heard about the bombing. And again, we was living on a military base then, so of course, it was a big ordeal down there. But I'll never forget that moment and being down there whenever that happened, because Georgia was in a craze at that time, and tough situation. But I hope that things go off without a hitch in these Olympics. I like that they're bringing baseball and softball back. Also trying to think, there was a couple other sports that they was adding, and it did come out breakdancing will not be included in the 2028 Olympics.
Also looking like boxing is out for the next Olympic cycle.
That is horrible.
Boxing.
Horrible.
Yeah, it looks like. I think the big thing is with that is they're trying to figure out a new international governing body.
Yeah,
because the previous one got into some judging scandals. There were some things where it looked like they were fixing fights and results, taking payouts and stuff. So the IOC distanced themselves from them. Now, there were still some incidents with boxing this year.
about the IBA.
Well, yeah, the IBA, but the IOC distanced themselves from the IBA.
Yeah.
So, because they kind of let the IBA kind of run that part of it. And so they distanced themselves. I will say this: if you do want to watch the Olympics but don't want to go all the way to California, there are 2 Olympic events in the next that are going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They're going to have the canoeing slalom event at some type of facility there, and also softball is going to be in Oklahoma City.
That is crazy that they're having it that far away. I could see if they was having it possibly, in San Diego or something like that, but having it, hours away, I don't get that.
That it was kind of weird, wasn't it? Like in the middle of the country instead of on at least the West Coast somewhere.
That's it. At least have it in Arizona or something. But who knows?
You can't tell me there's not softball facilities somewhere in the state of California that they could use.
Nah, I don't understand that. UCLA's right there. You got USC. You got all kinds of access to ballparks. The Dodgers. You got tons. Padres. You got tons of access. Use them. Use what you have at your disposal, California. So, guys, Hey Dude is thousands. 30,000 people are set to get a payout from Hey Dudes. The Hey Dude shoes. Come to find out that the company wasn't sending shoes whenever people would order them. It would take sometimes years for them to get their Hey Dudes. And said most cases they was running 2-3 months behind schedule. Said the people that would have something wrong with them, they wouldn't give their money back. They was just giving them gift cards. So the Federal Trade Commission is making them pay 30,000 people money back, and said it even is affecting people that went. Hey Dudes was hiding bad reviews on their website through a third-party website and only posting 4- and 5-star reviews on their website, which is illegal. And so Hey Dudes has found themselves in a lot of trouble. Well, when they found out that they was under investigation, they went and posted the bad reviews, but they was already in hot water because of the mail order situation. And tough situation may put Hey Dude under, as Hey Dudes was bought 2 years ago by Crocs Inc. And be interesting to see if the company can survive this hit.
I'd be really surprised if they couldn't. I mean, especially having Crocs backing them. I mean, you would think.
I got a pair on right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some Hey Dudes at the house, and a very comfortable shoe. I mean,
I got Crocs on, but not the Hey Dudes. But tough situation there. Guys, a big shout out to the folks in Williamson, West Virginia. Eric Rash, I want to give him a shout out for running the Brick Shop Gymnasium there. This summer I have been there multiple days throughout the summer, 2 days a week, and some of the best basketball I've ever seen played, street ball action in recent history, is played there at the Brick Shot. And this is very vital to kids in today's world because, it's kind of a lost art. People think that, street ball, pickup ball is a thing of the past. No, it's still alive and kicking well there at the Brick Shot. On any given day, Tuesday, Thursday, you can go down in a Brick Shot and you'll see former stars like Swaggy Saldine, Matt Maynard. You'll see Thomas Varney. Yesterday, for instance, you had Jackson Tackett, who is the starting center for the Alice Lloyd Eagles. You had Division I star Austin Ball. You had, former superstars here in the mountains. You had people like Scotty Browning. You had Cross Taylor. You had current and active players like Zayd Rash, Jackson Estridge, Carter Jude. Then you had Cross Taylor, Amari Lovett. You just go down, Dre Young's there, quite often. All the big names that we cover in sports show up there, whether it's former state champions, current players. Jeremy Dillon's there, numerous times a week. It's really neat to see these kids get to play with stars of the past. And it made a lot of these kids a lot better. If you're wanting to watch a good pickup game, go to the Brick Shot on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I promise you won't regret it because the best talent around here in the Cofields play pickup ball there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Hats off for Eric Rash giving the community a place to go and play meaningful pickup games.
Absolutely. Now, if we can just get some of these kids to come to West End maybe once or twice.
Yeah, go down to the cages.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they kids don't do that anymore, but this is the next best thing, and I am tickled to death as you see there. Jackson Tackett, Austin Ball, teammates on that Man Hillbilly State Championship team, guarding each other last night. That's it's something, Bradley, that's needed, is an outlet for kids to play pickup in our area, because I think that's a lost art. And very glad, for over a decade, the Brick Shot has been hosting great ball games. I remember plain as day, I used to spend every day of the week at the Brick Shot, and I remember the Wimpson Daily News doing an article on me playing there back in, I guess that would be in 2000, that was probably 2013, I would say.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't about me, but the picture had me and my brothers playing in it, and it's really neat to see that continue there in the Wimpson community. And there's kids from all around. Jaden Stewart from Pike Central, Jake Sloan, Prestonsburg kids come over there. There's kids that come from Ashland. I've been down there a couple of times where people just heard about the games going on there, and a guy working from out of town come in and said that he wanted to lace them up and get in on the action. So, and they've been such an overwhelming drove of people coming that a couple nights a week they've had to do invites only. So really neat to see what's going on at the Brick Shot in Wimpson.
Yeah, it's great.
So as we move on, guys, Jaden Stewart picks up his third offer from CU Harrodsburg. Shout out to Jaden Stewart, the beast from the East. This kid right here, it's going to be neat to see where he lands. He's got offers from KCU, CU Harrodsburg, and do you remember the other one, Bradley?
Bethany College.
Bethany, yeah. So he holds 3 offers right now, and there's going to be a load more coming as he's one of the favorites to win 15th Region Player of the Year. Braxton Chafin, combo guard Braxton Chafin, tells D&D Sports Network he is leaving Lenore and will play his 7th grade season at Kermit Middle School for Coach Mikey Newsom. Listen, Coach Newsom's doing an amazing thing there in Kermit with them boys. And, listen, if you build it, they'll come. And right now, kids are wanting to join that program there, for Mikey Newsom. And this kid is one of the most improved kids. Whenever by season's end, people will say that's one of the best middle schoolers in Mingo County. I mean, this kid, I've been very surprised at the growth in his game over the last calendar year.
And he picked such a good school to go to because Kermit, that's a rich tradition when it comes to basketball. I'll never forget, I think it might have been my 6th grade year was when they might have won their first county championship. Their first county championship that they have won in a really long time. And it seems like ever since that year happened, because it was always Williamson that was the powerhouse. And once they finally upset them, it's like they didn't look back. Here we are 20 years later still talking about them.
Speaking of offers, Breathitt County star Austin Sperry now holds multiple Division I offers from Ohio, EKU, Moorhead, Radford, Northern Kentucky, and I do not recognize that bottom logo. Do you, Bradley?
I'm looking at it. I don't think that's UTSA. Maybe that'd be kind of far away, but it's possible.
Yeah,
it kind of looks like a road runner or something.
Yeah, but shout out to this young man, Austin Sperry. He's one of the front runners for the 14th Region Player of the Year award. As Austin Sperry, the pride of Breathitt County this year, he holds what was it, 6, 7 Division I offers. Before it's over with, this dude will hold close to 20 Division I offers. I mean, this kid's an elite talent. He had a chance to go play for OTE, turned it down, and will finish his career out with his friends at Breathitt County. So, be neat to see who wins that battle between him and Evan Eversole for Region Player of the Year over there, and see who comes out of that 14th region to represent them in the Sweet 16. So, guys, that brings us to the conclusion of the show. Another great show. Paul Peters says, "Why does Bradley look like he pulls the people's crazy, man?" As people are listen, don't bring that stuff on here, guys. There's no place for junk like that. Trying to do a meaningful show, and as soon as we get off, we will definitely block you from the page, whoever you are. So sure, it's a scam account, guys. We're going to take and jump off, guys. Tomorrow, Bradley, do we have any guests coming on tomorrow?
I'm not aware of any right now. I am going to speak a little bit later to a coach, and hopefully we can get that set up.
Yeah, so hopefully, I'm trying to think. No, tomorrow I think it's Weston Harris Day, so we will probably have Betsy Lane's Weston Harris come on, and I want to tomorrow get Bradley's rundown on Mingo Central and Tug Valley. So Bradley, I know you done the football previews for them, so we're going to have you do a live preview of them tomorrow on the show. But until then, guys, we hope you guys at home have a great day. We want to thank all our great sponsors, including our friends at Punk's Tires. Guys, Punk's Tires is the #1 supporter of the Startup Morning Show. Support them. If you like the show, go buy your tires. Let them get you road ready with great deals and great service, located in Burgee, Kentucky. Guys, for Bradley Dameron, JJ Pruitt, and Darryl McCoy, we'll see you tomorrow right here. Same time, same channel.